Wow, way better roll. Way better.
Like, love it. I'm like, ready?
Okay.
This is Haley.
And this is Bailey, and you're listening to Text Me When You Land. You're yawning, but it's the morning, and it's the night for
It's
me. I should
11.
be yawning.
It's not that. It's like late morning.
Oh, whoa.
Almost,
Yeah, it's 8 here.
Oh my gosh, it's late. Have you had dinner yet?
No, I need to make dinner after this.
What are you guys going to do for dinner?
Steak and veggies? Sounds
Yum.
so good. We've been having so much pasta here, which the pasta is really good, but I feel like we've had pasta and bread for way too many meals.
You know what's great about Europe, though? That you can eat that stuff and not feel like crap after eating it.
Yeah, honestly, it's so much different than home. Even the wine here, like wine at home, I feel like you have a glass of wine and it can make you feel like the next day. We're here, it's dangerous because you can have a glass of wine and it's like, oh, you're okay, because there's not like all the, is it preservatives they put in it? Yeah, processing that they put in it.
Did you know
it's just like the
Erewhon has like
pastas
a whole
and bread.
winery?
Really?
Yeah, there's like a whole Erewhon winery.
I didn't know that.
Saw it. It's in LA, but you can get like really high quality wine there.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Did you also see they did a sushi thing where it's like a sushi box from Erewhon?
Yeah, someone was eating it the other day, and I was like, I didn't know they had sushi.
Evan just put his finger up and said, no. But it is true because their box is more expensive than Sugarfish, which Sugarfish is like really good for a box. And I feel like they just don't. Like, I feel like you'd go spend money at Sugarfish over spending more money at Erewhon for less. Do you know what I mean?
Why did Evan shake his finger? No.
Because he was like, Erewhon sushi, no. Because he thinks Sugarfish is better too. We haven't even tried Erewhon, but
got it.
It just like
size
and
so you know the chicken tenders, the turmeric chicken tenders?
Yes.
You said they're kind of dry. You need a sauce with them.
Yeah.
You can get a sauce with them. I found out.
What's
I
the
got
sauce?
it, and it was really good. I don't know if you'd like it, but it was like a lemony ranch, but it wasn't ranch. It was really good. But you just ask if they have any sauce for it, and they'll just like, yeah, sure, they'll give you some.
Oh my gosh, we need that. We need to try. I need to try
it.
I
know. It's a game changer because they're kind of on the drier end because of the turmeric.
Yeah.
But it's oh my gosh. Delish. I wish I found out what it was called because yeah, I'll go with you because I'm obsessed.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be in town-ish around when I'm home, so we'll have to go. I was just thinking that, like, I saw kava today on someone's story, and I was like, why does that? It's so funny. It's like wherever you are, you're in the U.S., you're like, oh my gosh, Italian food sounds so good, or European food sounds so good, and then you're here, and it's like, ooh, kava, or ooh,
the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
it's the same with my hair right now. Like, I really want to not be blonde anymore, but I know as soon as I see a photo of my blonde hair when I go back to my brown, I'm gonna be like, I wish I stayed blonde. So
I feel like you're kind of naturally going, like, I feel like it's darker than it used to be. No,
it is. It's like under.
Yeah, like it feels like you're slowly
grown out. If you're watching, it's all my under layer, like the bottom part of my hair.
Yeah, it's definitely getting darker. I feel like it'll be a slow transition. I mean, it took me so long, and I don't even have as much hair as you, to go from like when I was dyeing it blonde to just natural. I don't think I have any. Thing left.
I'm like worried I'm gonna fry my hair. I just don't want it to get fried. And with bleaching, that's kind of inevitable. So I'm like, I think it's just gonna be a little bit longer. I'll have it because I'm liking it right now. But I don't want to. It's not gonna be forever. But my hair is naturally really dark. Like my roots are really really dark.
Yeah, I can see that. Could you just do it where it's more like highlights?
Yeah, I think you're gonna get there slowly. Balayage, yeah, and it's expensive to maintain.
Yeah,
and it's a pain to go in every 2 to 3 months. Yeah,
and it grows out so fast. I'm sure because you have such long hair.
We were talking earlier, and we were just. It's interesting how you can always ask people questions, and but when someone asks like the same question back, it's hard to like answer. And like, for example, someone asks you your favorite movie, like you're like, I don't know, like all these movies come to your head, and then it's just like you think about getting to know yourself. Like you might know someone else really well, but how well do you know yourself? And we have a list of questions we just kind of wanted to like just kind of go back and forth and talk about, because it's fun to learn about yourself, but then also other people, but this is all about learning to, like, self-reflect for yourself.
Yeah, so at the end, we'll put it or on this podcast, we'll also put a link at the bottom that you can click and go and read these questions because we're not gonna go through all of them, but we'll go through some of them, just chatting back and forth.
There's, like, a lot. Do you have the questions pulled up?
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
What do you like to do for
what are
fun?
my what do I like to do for fun?
Yeah, I love this question because
I
people
like
ask
going
this
on
question so much out.
I mean, does it okay, by myself or when I'm with people?
Either. Just what do you like doing? Like, what makes you happy? Not like anybody else
I
and
love going to the
considered.
beach.
That's a good answer.
I love going to the beach. I love being by water, I think. It doesn't even have to be a beach, like, by a pool. I'm slowly liking hot tubs as long as they're not too hot because I feel like hot tubs are often too hot and I can't sit in them for a while because it's just,
Hot.
like steaming. Yeah. What about you? What do you like to do for fun?
See, this is a question that I feel like is a really common question people ask, and then you like panic. You're like,
It's
what
like
do
the
I like
movie
to do for
question.
fun? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I feel like I like going for walks. I've been trying to get back in, not back into running, but going for runs more because with all our travels, that just has not been in
I mean,
my
you're kind of
routine.
on the run for your life. I mean,
Literally
you're
just like
always
running
running.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you're always running to point A to point B. I mean,
Yeah.
your life's a figurative run.
I would
That's a good
literally
one.
I feel like probably if I had to pick, that would be like a beach walk would be my favorite kind of walk, but I think that's
Yes.
been like that's right now though, specifically. I feel like I've been walking every day and I realized like how much I really do enjoy it. I also have been journaling. I haven't been doing it that long, but right now it's fun and I like that right
Right now.
now.
I like having journals with prompts.
Yeah, those are good. Like the 5-minute journal is always good. Like it's pretty simple, but it like asks you the
Yeah,
same
I got
questions.
Bryce this daily journal that he stopped doing after like 3 weeks, but the
Yeah, I
concept
know.
was good. But I was like, "Freak, I'm going to take your journal and start doing it cuz I liked it." But it was like, "What are your strengths?" It was kind of like what we're doing now and it like gave you like what's something you can work on or something like that. I just think those are fun. I used to journal a lot. Like I found my old journal and I was like,
Mm.
"Man,
I used to
life is
journal
so
so much.
different."
And then I'd read it, I'm like, "This is so embarrassing. Do I throw this away? Like, or do I keep it?"
No, keep it. You got to keep it. Don't throw it away. All right. Where do
What do
you
you
feel safest?
Oh, I read that one. That's a good question. I feel like this is like a sappier answer though. Like I feel
It
like
could be.
because we travel all the time, it's Evan just because we are always on the go and like that's home versus like before it was safest was like a home. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a home becomes safest
Safe with
usually.
Evan?
Yeah, that's
Is
my
that what you're doing?
answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we're
That's cute.
traveling and like
Oh.
well, like I told you that's a savvy answer, but like I feel like when you're not traveling, a lot of times like a home becomes your safe place or like those kind of things. But when you're never
Yeah, that's
home,
a really good perspective. I was going to say like yeah, like a place, but I think even in the places I would say I feel safe, I can still feel unsafe if I'm not with Bryce.
yeah. So it's like it
Does that
usually
make
becomes
sense?
like that trend. I feel like I did do it. It was like home is like a person, and then it was like me and Evan traveling because it really is a person. Even if you live in one spot, it's more the person and you living in that spot than just you living there a lot of times.
Yeah. No, that's a cute answer. I like that. What is your
What?
proudest moment?
No, I had it's my turn now.
Oh, okay, sorry. You can answer. Okay. You know what I'm asking you next though.
What are you what are you passionate about?
What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about a lot of things. I think that at my core, learning in general. I've
Yeah,
always been really passionate about
you
learning.
are. I feel like I know.
I
I'd be like,
love to
okay,
learn
I
stuff.
have a question. And you'll like dive into it and know all the answers, and I'm like, great,
Like
thanks.
you're like, what does this mean for Hudson's test results? I'm like,
Yeah,
this and this and this. And I just
yeah,
love learning. It's fun. And I think that, you can never have too much information. I also had this is kind of off topic a little bit. I had this realization the other day, and you kind of talked a little bit about it when we were texting about how people bring so much diversity and perspectives and point of views and just this perception of life that everybody has, and there's no right or wrong way, and I think it has turned I think I've turned it into, like, this art in my head, like, it is a beautiful thing, like, we all think, "Oh, that person's so weird because they do this," but I'm like, "No, I like that they do things differently, even if I don't agree or it's not something I would do." I think it like, this whole world is full of so much different dynamics. It's just, like, I've realized that the people doing things differently, I love it. I think it's awesome.
I feel like that's been like a hot topic of something I've been talking about a lot recently, just because I feel like traveling so much, you start to see different groups and different people and how everybody does it and all that stuff. And I think sometimes when you're in one spot, it starts to feel like everybody does it a certain way. And that's not true. It just starts to feel that way because that's who you're surrounded by. And then
Yeah,
you
it's like the
realize
cultures are all so different.
yeah, it can literally be you live, all in similar spots, but you're in a certain group and everybody's doing it a certain way. So that's like the norm, quote unquote. But there's really no norm. And I think that's what's so cool is like being able to do things in a different way and being pushed almost. I think like for me, I was pushed to travel because I met Evan and that was our lifestyle. And I was pushed to see that where I don't know if I would have ever seen it if I didn't travel and I didn't really leave
Exactly.
where I was.
Well, and I was thinking, like, how different life would be, like, without having certain people bring like, I've heard that you're supposed to have surround yourself with people who push you to do things you may not do necessarily. Like, for example, like, you really pushed me to try
I
different things, and it scares the
love
crap
to
out of me,
push.
but I'm like, "You do." It's like, "There's a cliff, push."
In
Just,
a
like,
good way
really
only.
in the best possible way. Of course, I have a parachute on if I'm jumping off a cliff, but I'm just like, it's those things I think that help people bring different perspectives. Like, in my opinion, there is no right or wrong way to do something and believe. Like, there's no
But
absolute
people don't like you not living in their norm, and that's where I think
no,
the
like, people get
norm
and
thing
that's hard.
comes
Yes.
from, if that makes
Yep.
sense, because
And
I
people
feel
get
like
very upset and worked up, like, with beliefs, different beliefs people have, and, that can go into all different categories, but
but it could even
for
be, like,
me
simple as, like, lifestyle choices, like, I think people have a really hard time with
exactly.
that, or, like, when you choose to get
Yes.
married or when you choose to have kids, like, big life things, a lot of times people don't understand why you're doing it different than they did it or they want to do.
Yeah. Oh, totally, and, like, for example, what I would usually have dinner around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, but in Europe, you guys have it 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But yet studies in the US say that it's not good to eat late at night, but yet I don't know if I would necessarily trust that the most considering America's current health.
Yeah,
I
it'd
don't
be
know,
interesting to, like, know more about that, but is it because
like
there's so much
but it's
walking here
like
versus
I don't think it's one size fits all. Like one person eating later at night doesn't mean that it's not good. Like there's just like that's what I'm saying. There's just not one size fits all. And I think it's really cool to see different people's perspectives and the way they live their lives. Anyway, that kind of just went off topic, but
No, I don't think it did because I was just gonna say, I think that really ties into getting to know yourself and knowing what you want and what you like versus what other people want and what other people like, and then you feeling like that's what you wanna do. Because I think that's a lot of times lost. You don't really know yourself because you're living based on other people around you, and I don't even think you notice it a lot of times, but, like, really knowing who you are can help you with where you go in life in so many ways. And for passion, I was thinking as we were talking, because when I originally asked it, I was like, I have no idea. But I would probably say it's self-growth because I'm so big on like always wanting to like push myself and grow and become a better version of myself. And I think that's something I've been super passionate about the last 2 years that have pushed me into who I am today and also pushed me to do different things like running or walk, like going on a hike by myself or just different things that
on a side note, I totally tried running on your behalf yesterday or a few days ago. I was on a treadmill and I was like, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna see what Bailey's like. What's this all about? And I was on a treadmill. It wasn't like I was out on like a mountain or anything, but I was just like, this is horrible. I wasn't even wearing the right sports bra, so I was like holding myself down. I'm like, this is awful. I
I feel like I would think the
was like,
same thing with a treadmill. I haven't ran on a treadmill really. I feel like
yeah,
I'd
it's
get
so
bored.
hot where I'm at though. I can't. I wish I could go outside and do it and run somewhere. Like I was when we were in San Diego. I was like, I would totally go running on a beach or like everyone was out walking and just exercising outside. And I'm like, I want that so bad.
I feel like even just like going for a walk and then being like oh, I can, like, run a little. I think sometimes, like, running, it's like, "Oh my gosh, you have to go for a 3-mile run or you have to go for a 4" it's like, just go on a walk, and then if you wanna run a little, like, start to add it in because I feel like it's almost like an at least when I started, I was always like, "Oh my god, do I look weird when I'm running? Are people, like, watching?" Like, no one is, but because you've never done it and it's, like, something new, I think it can feel uncomfortable, so it's, like, nice to baby step into it. 'Cause, like, I personally don't like running with people because I don't run fast, and I'm like, "I'm not doing this." I don't wanna, like I don't know, it's like I always get self-conscious if I have to run with people just because I haven't done it a lot.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Ooh, this is what do my dreams tell me, but I feel like can you even remember your dreams?
I had a nightmare the other night. It was awful, Bailey. It was awful. I almost texted you because I woke up at 3 in the morning and I knew you're gonna be awake, and I was like, I should text Bailey right now and be like, "Hey, how's it going? Get my mind off of this because this is horrible." But I was like, I couldn't even move. I was frozen. It was the weirdest dream ever, but it was awful. I
I
hope our
hate
dreams
that.
don't mean anything.
My well, it says, like, "What do your dreams tell you?" And I feel like mine are usually very, very, very much based off of what I've watched or what's happened in that day. So, like, if I remember a dream, it's usually, like, if I watched a show where something happened, like, something similar will happen, but, like, in my life. And I almost had to stop watching any show that gave me that, like, thought because I'd end up having, like, nightmares or being super stressed in my dreams and, like, waking up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I could see that easily having an influence on dreams, whatever is around you and what you watch, especially what you watch before going to bed.
It says, "I know I'm stressed when I
I know I'm
blank."
stressed when I Bailey,
Get
what
snappy.
you, when I haven't eaten. If I haven't
Oh, when you haven't
eaten, I
eaten,
tend to get
then you're
hangry.
hangry.
And yeah, I get hangry. And Bryce is always like, "We should have a snack." And I'm like, "Do you mean me or do you mean we?" He's like, "I'm happy to have a snack with you." I'm like, okay.
What do you like about your job and what do you dislike about your job?
Oh, don't get me started. I just sent Bailey this text last night. I was ticked. I got an email from a business and they basically were like, "Sorry, we can't pay you because you're too expensive and there's other people similar to you who are not as expensive and they have similar features and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Okay."
Nobody's you. That's a big I feel like that's the biggest reminder when you get an email like that, like, nobody's you and they're trying to bring you
Let
down.
me send you the invoices of all the other businesses who disagreed. So
Yeah,
I just
right?
like it just like I think it's just so rude. I mean, aside like it's one thing if it's out of their budget to pay, like fine. Like I respect that. We can go from that. But to say that comparing me to someone else, that's just like a backhanded like comment in my opinion and not
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, no, I feel like
And then it
emails
just
are
it shows to me
so
your values.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna
it's
say.
just
Emails are
trashy.
huge on, like, how somebody emails or how somebody says something. That is so important to me. Like, you can so quickly tell if they're gonna be, like, a good brand to build a relationship with or if it's gonna be not a brand that you really wanna work with based on, like,
Totally.
how
You
they
really have
talk
to
to
have
you. If
thick
they're like
skin.
you really do, for sure.
Mhm. That's one thing. I've definitely, like, developed thicker skin over time, and I'm like, I'm lucky that I don't say sassy stuff in return, like, I don't sink to their level, but
Yeah.
I could.
I
I
mean,
could, but I
we
don't.
both probably write out the emails and then just don't send them.
Accidentally sent no, I'm just kidding. What about you? What's something you don't like about your job? What about, like, the fact that sometimes it's hard to not be thinking about it all the time?
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like it's hard to turn off. I definitely am trying to find that like turn off and be like okay with taking time off, but it definitely is hard because when you're sharing your life, it's like, oh, it just like your brain just goes on, or like even like I don't feel like I can just scroll Instagram for fun or TikTok for fun because it's just work automatically. That's definitely one. I'd say a big one too, and I think that we've grown a lot in this, but is like how much people compare on social media. And I think even when you've grown and you've worked really hard, it can be really hard sometimes when things are like in your face and you're working really hard. And I don't know, I just think there's a lot of comparing when you're putting your life out there, even when you try so hard to not compare. I think that's just like something I'm always working on. I think we're both always
Mhm.
working on. We're always talking about that.
Yeah, you always have to kind of work on that. And the thing is that I've really had to shift my mindset on it and just be like, I'm so happy for other people's successes. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
for sure.
exciting. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care where they're at or what they're doing. Like, the fact that that is something they're experiencing and that's what they deem as success, I hope that they are taking those times to actually realize, like, you are doing great. Like, that's awesome. And, like, I don't care if I'm not in the same spot as them. Like, for me,
No
it
one's
doesn't
gonna ever
reflect
be in
anything
the same
less.
spot. But
Yeah,
even, like,
like
I feel like it could be, like, work, it could be, like, travel, it could be, like, all these different things, and I think that all comes in different times. We were talking about this on a recent podcast where it's, like, very based on where you're at. Like, if you're feeling really confident, you're feeling really good, you don't really compare, or, like, we were talking about something similar, but, like, you don't compare as much, and then if sometimes you're having a harder day, it's like you find yourself comparing even though you don't want to, and I think that's something, like, I've learned a lot of, like, I don't do really anymore, but, like, that's a big thing in our job that, like, at the beginning, oh my gosh, it was so much harder than it is today.
oh, totally. I really wish that you could like turn off some of the features that they have on social media. Like you could customize what you don't want out, like whether if it's like number of followers or like views on a reel, or if it was you don't want to see other people's things like that. So you could choose to turn off. So you don't, I know you can do that with like likes and stuff, but like I just wish they had more. So that way it was more of I don't know, just a
Just
happy,
what
like,
you
oh, I'm going to your
create
account
and
just to see.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
more
feel
about
like
like,
so much
"Oh,
is
you're
based on
sharing this."
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't think about that, unfortunately. We can talk about this all day too.
Yeah, for sure. What is something you love about
S
it?
Yeah, something you love. I love the creative freedom and
That's
being
exactly what
your
I was
own
gonna say,
boss.
like, yeah, I was gonna say that.
I mean, it definitely like, I did a reel the other day of, like, what it's like to actually be self-employed, and it was just Bryce working on vacation. Like, this is so true, though, like and then when we were in San Diego, I was gonna YouTube our San Diego trip, but I had never been to San Diego. I didn't know what to expect, if it was gonna be worth it or video I don't know. I just, like I was just so overwhelmed, and I just did not wanna have to focus on that, and I was like, "I just wanna enjoy this trip. I don't wanna be, 'Hi, I'm on YouTube and holding a I just I didn't wanna do that, and so Bryce like, "Just enjoy it. Just to get little clips here and there for Instagram, and you can do YouTube another time for it." And I was like, "You know, that's a good point." And I was so nice just to not have to think about that. But it does get it's
Yeah,
like, it's
it's
cool
so
that I have the
nice.
option, do I want YouTube? Do I not want YouTube? Rather than being like, I
Yeah.
have to. Yeah.
No, for sure. It's finding that balance and enjoying certain trips and be like, oh, this is a work trip or this is a, I'm going to check out. And I think that's something you definitely have to find a balance of when you are doing social media.
If you're curious about more on social media, we did just have a podcast episode come out about it. You can go and listen, and we talk just more about the ins and outs of working on social media and, our experience with it. And it's definitely been a whirlwind, but go check it out. And we also have a lot of episodes just about, questions to ask your friend or ask yourself. We have an intro extrovert episode. I know that that's a fun one. Maybe we should do another episode like that. I
Yeah,
think it'd
that
be
would be
interesting
fun.
to talk about. And ADD. There's a lot of fun
Yeah.
topics we can do. Comment some questions you have or topics you want us to talk more about, and we will work on making some of those episodes.